So when it comes to the demons, who are the dispossessed souls of those that were formed from the Nephilim, with the sons of women, with the fallen angelic watcher angels, that whole perspective there, God didn't create them. They didn't have a human spirit. We made them by coming into agreement, not with God, but with the fallen angelic watchers. So we made them. So what are we going to do with them? Well, they've got no purpose that God has for them. They've got no purpose other than following their identity, which was to be wicked continually, because they came out of a wrong agreement and they came out of an angelic fall. Therefore, what are we going to do with them? Well, I hope we'll do the same thing that God did with us. Choose to forgive them and give them a purpose in the future. We get to judge angels. How are we going to judge them? Condemn them? Or acknowledge them in what they're doing in good, those who are not fallen, and those who are fallen? How are we going to judge them? As those that Jesus died for. Colossians 1. The all things of creation and all things that he created by him, for him, through him, all things that he reconciled with the blood of the cross. Same all things. So Jesus has already dealt with all things he's created and has already reconciled and dealt with them and made it possible that all of them could come into a restored state. What about those things that we might have created? And if you believe Ian Clayton, we can go around creating demons all day if we keep choosing to agree with the negative things in us. So what are we going to do with all those things we might have created? And actually, according to Justin Abraham, who would say that we have the ability also to create angels. Well, I've actually created some watcher angels, some guardians. I've created some guardians. So what am I going to do with them? Judge them. Not negatively, but positively, according to them outworking their identity. So whenever angels do things for me, I give them thanks. I judge them and come with a heart that is thankful for their involvement in my life. So I'm not going to judge them in a negative way. I'm going to judge them according to what Jesus has done and how he has judged me. And he has judged me innocent and righteous without me having to do one little thing. That's how I'm going to treat everyone else in creation. They don't have to prove to me or earn my love, just as I didn't have to prove to God and earn his love. It was unconditional. So I'm going to love unconditionally and bring that judgment of innocent on those that I might have inadvertently created, if I've ever created any demons in my own behavior. I don't know. I'm not saying I agree with Ian Clayton. I don't know. But, there is a mindset with some that we have the ability to do that. Well, if that's what we do, then we're responsible for what we do, as far as I'm concerned. Therefore, I'm going to operate the same way God operated towards me, towards anything that I might have inadvertently brought into being. And all those that I have not directly brought into being, my ancestors brought into being, because we all have ancestors that go back to Adam. So all of those, have some link to us. And I'm not going to look around and point the finger at them. I'm going to identify with them and release forgiveness into my generational lines for what they did in introducing that into the world. And all those that we now call, demons or familiar spirits or familial spirits or whatever I call them, how am I going to deal with them? In the same way that I've been dealt with. And in the future, the Father has said, and we'll get to choose what happens to them. Now, I hope people will have an encounter with unconditional love in such a way that they'll choose to forgive them and to restore them and to give them a purpose, rather than assigning them to some place that doesn't exist in reality. Because where could you assign them to be separate from the love of God? Nowhere. Because the love of God cannot be separated from, even for them. So quite a challenge. I know this stuff is challenging for people.